Hello, this is Cuckoo. Today I brought the Analog 4 along, and Elektron, they quite recently released a new software update for the analog keys and the Analog 4, and they introduced a number of new features. Today I'm going to look at the feature that sparked my interest right away, and it's the key tracked LFO behavior. And what is that? What could you use it for? Well, you could use it for making sort of FM synthesis style sounds, and some people think it's difficult, but until someone shows you, it might be difficult, but it's not really that difficult. It's just really cool. So I'm going to show you a number of ways where you could apply these key tracked LFO behavior to a lot of parameters, and it's going to sound really cool. So okay, let's try it out. Okay, so here we go. We've got the latest update to the Analog 4, and I'm going to go through how to experiment with the key tracked LFO to build some new sounds that wasn't really possible before this update. And it's going to be like FM style kind of sounds. So, okay, let's get to it. Track 1, clear. This is the default sound, and the first thing I'm going to do is to open up the filters to hear the raw sound, because the filters are always kind of active, even though in the default sound. So I'm going to open up filter 1, bring down the resonance, close the filter 2 there. Yeah, this is the raw sound. No filters applied. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut off oscillator 1. I'm going to instead use oscillator 2. And why is that? Because oscillator 1 has a specific feature that I like, that is called the feedback. And only the oscillator 1 can do that. So I'm going to reserve oscillator 1 for doing feedback that I might perhaps use and perhaps not. And then I go to oscillator 2 and turn it up. Sounds just the same. So what I like about FM synthesis is to mix sine waves. Now, the Elektron Analog 4 doesn't do sine waves. So I'm going to go with the closest sound, which is a triangle. It's not a sine wave, but it's smooth. And I find it cool, beautiful in a way to do FM modulations with smooth sounds, because out of the smoothness comes sharpness. If you already start out with a sharp sound, it's going to appear more sharpness. So I like the dynamics between the smooth and the sharp that appears when you do FM synthesis with smooth waveforms. So with this in mind, I'm going to start out with a triangle. Okay, so this is just a basic triangle. What can we do to change this with the LFOs? Let's head over to the LFO and see. So there are two LFOs, LFO 1 and LFO 2. I press it twice, to mix between the two, red and green. I'm going to use the green one, LFO 2. LFO, when you're synchronizing them to the pitch of the keyboard, they're hard synced to oscillator 2 and oscillator 1. So LFO 2 can be hard synced to oscillator 2, and LFO 1 can be hard synced to oscillator 1. I'm going to do oscillator 2 now, since I'm working. Sorry, LFO 2, since I'm working with oscillator 2. So let's just, an LFO is a low frequency operator. You can make tremolos, basically. So basically, this is applying a triangle waveform to the volume of this sound, and changes the value of the volume in a triangle pattern. If I do it in a square pattern, you could clearly hear what's going on. Yeah, and if I do it in a sine wave, sine wave and triangle sounds very similar. I'm going to use the sine wave. And so we've got the speed and the multiplier and fade and some other things here I'm going to go through soon. If I turn up the multiplier now, or the speed, you can hear it's faster. And the multiplier, okay. But these, when you got this little cross there, the multiply symbol, the X, then you know that these are tuned to the tempo. Yeah. And if I keep going here, I come up to really fast values. 2K, 2000 is the fastest. This is where sort of FM synthesis these are sounds that we, at least me, I associate these kind of overtones with FM synthesis. And yet, I'm actually just modifying the volume. Even though I'm just modifying the volume, the same sort of frequency behavior appears. But, let's say I find a clean tone here. And do more. It doesn't follow the keyboard, so it could get a bit crazy in terms of pitch. It's not really tonal, but it's cool. Okay, so if we continue here, we go past the 2K sign, and then we head into this dot sign. And these are not synchronized to anything. These are just static values. So if I change the BPM, it's not going to affect the LFO. If I keep going, this little symbol appears. I believe it's a tuning fork, I guess. So now it's tuned to the keyboard. Slow down here, faster, faster, faster. And this means that if I find a special frequency where it sounds nice, it's gonna follow that. The speed of the modifying LFO. It's gonna follow the keyboard and track the keyboard. And if you want to be tonal about it, let's see. Then I suggest that the speed is dividable by 16. So if this is something else, then if it's 32, you can hear it's very smooth and tonal. But if it's something else, 34, it's kind of it still follows the keyboard, but it's in a kind of atonal overtones. And then I hit 48, which is I mean, you could do whatever you want, but these are just guidelines. If it's divisible by 16, it's gonna be more or less synchronized. Okay, so if we modify something else, then the volume, okay, let's modify something else. For instance, we're playing with oscillator 2 now, right? So we're gonna change the pitch mod. We're gonna modify the pitch with this. it gets crazy. It goes a bit crazy as you hear. This could be really cool. It sounds really broken and gritty, like an old modem or something. This is kind of cool. You could push these, you could push it to the level of being really crazy and gritty, and you could stay in a safe environment in a way. We could hear that if we go down in the octaves. It's more stable, but as we go further up the octaves, things are going faster and faster and faster, and I think that the analog components doing the pitch corrections or the digital control and stuff maybe can't really keep up, or the resolution of the digital oscillator is lower than required to keep up. I don't know, but at some point it kind of freaks out, and that's cool. And even though it sounds uncontrolled, it's the same behavior. So if you learn where the quirks appear, then you could actually play it. And sequence it. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to copy this sound and put it on track 2 here. Paste. So now, yeah, we got 2 of these sounds. So I'm going to save it for later. So if we keep going now, this was the pitch mod. If I go to frec mod, this is a frequency modulation, FM. It keeps up much better. Let's see. And it sounds a bit different. I'm gonna... Now it could be a really good opportunity to introduce the fade. If we fade this, it's basically fading this. It's doing this. If I want to fade this without hooking up an envelope, this is actually a really small envelope. Just gonna fade it. And I also need to change this to this. It's right now free, so it has just started once and then it's kind of always start. But if I make this into trig, it's gonna start over every time I press a trig. And I could tell you already that with these FM type of LFO stuff, you could access a whole new register of bass sounds that are really massive and cool. Try another one. Let's see. Let's do some release. Yeah, let's do it in mono. I'm just gonna go into kit and polyconfig and turn off the poly. See? Yeah, this is kind of cool. So I think it makes sense to send FM stuff, to send the LFO modulation to the FM frequency modulation. But I'll show you another place which I think is even cooler. It's right now we're modifying the oscillator with the LFO tuned to the same oscillator. But if I go into the filter, and okay, I'm just going to reset this. So, okay, no modulation now. But if, you know, we've got the filter here. What if I let the LFO control the filter? What would that sound like? You know, we could easily hear what it sounds like when we do slowly by hand, but if we do insanely fast, what does it sound like? Let's try that. Let's do LFO2 and filter 1 frequency. This is where we could do really cool stuff. Can you hear it? You can see that when I turn it to 32, this is a particularly musical, tonal place to do stuff. Oh, this is really cool. And can you hear this now? This is a sine wave changing. A sine wave LFO, sorry, changing the filter now, the filter frequency. And if I turn off right now, the resonance is oh, sorry. Then, you know, the filter 2 could be used to boost it or something. Boost the bass here. Yeah, maybe track it to 32 as well to follow the keyboard. Yeah. And what about the overdrive? You know, overdrive on this kind of sound could be really massive. Could you hear that bass? You know, I don't know, you know, I haven't studied this on a professional level. I could just feel it when it happens. And I could feel that this is like a key opening up bass register that I couldn't really access without it. Hear that bass, man. Yeah. Maybe a tad too much bass there, I don't know. Yeah. So if I turn it up even more. I think this is really cool. Okay. If we also apply it to the second, to let's see, filter 2. Let's say, okay, let's do that. Filter 2. Filter 1, filter 2, frequency. Kind of doubling the effect now. And doing some. Kind of crazy. Oh, sorry, going. Yeah, so, yeah, that's one thing. Okay, let's try, and I told you that I was reserved, I was reserving oscillator 1 for feedback. So right now, the filter 1 is doing this FM stuff. What if I feed this back into here? Let's see what happens. It kind of gets fatter, you know, and because a lot of the tonality is achieved by changing the LFO. Even though we go full on with the feedback, we're not destroying the sound. So what if we add some noise here? Maybe a sub. So we've got that crazy one there. This bass here. This one here. Okay, copy this into here and make maybe a brighter sound. Let's see. Filter. I don't know. Okay, this one. Okay, so we've got. how they play together. Mm. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Maybe some swing. Well, that's a little something. After they updated this, there is access to a whole new range of sounds, and it sounds different. It's not just the average FM synthesis that you've heard for a long time. You could do other kind of sounds. It sounds a bit raw, and sometimes it takes a while to find the places where you could apply these LFO behaviors. But I find it most fun to apply it to the filters. Actually, I was a bit surprised by that. I thought making FM changes to the oscillators would be cooler, but when I listen to it, I think that the filters sounds much cooler to apply stuff to. But that being said, you could apply stuff to both of the oscillators and then also do the amplification modification, AM type of sounds, and do all of these things at once. It's really cool. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try it. Maybe the metallic. Ooh, these are cool things. Yeah, you could experiment. Just be curious, you know. You could send the whole list here is open for you to modify. You could modify anything. And just try it out and see what makes sense to you. So okay, I'm definitely gonna start using this a lot and try to make really nice, especially keyboard sounds with LFO FM and release it as a package. And if you like these videos that I do and you also want access to my patches that I release occasionally, I suggest you go over to my Patreon account and sign up for donating a few bucks every time I release such a video like this, or another kind of interesting jam or interview with someone. That's a very nice gesture, and it's a very nice way for me to actually start providing you with more stuff, because if I get a lot of support this way, I could work a lot more with creating content for you and creating more and better tutorials and stuff. So yeah, there you go. I'd be very, very thankful. Frankly, it helps out a lot. It makes the big difference of this being a thing that I could do more and more of, or less and less. So if you care to donate, like 300 people is already doing that over at Patreon, and I'm so thankful because of your support. I'm slowly now closing to this point where I could actually start doing more of this for a living, and this is what I like to do, to make more sounds to you, more tutorials, and more music. Cuckoo music. Yeah, there you go. So stay around. If it's going to be free anyway, but the patches, I keep the patches for my supporters. So if you want the patches, that's something you could look forward to if you choose to support me with a few bucks here and there. Okay, this is Cuckoo. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay cuckoo, and ask me questions in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. And there's one place where I take more questions, and this is a place where I haven't actually talked at all about, but even so, people have found it, and it's my Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com/cuckoo music, some people find it more, it's a nicer place to ask questions and to have a little conversation. Yeah, cool. Peace out. I'm not going to hold you here anymore. Next tutorial that I'm going to make is an octatrack tutorial, and I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but fairly soon. Okay, see you soon.